What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma if you're new here, and I love to talk about all things Peloton, cycling, and fitness, so be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I post every single Sunday, but this month I am posting every single day for Vlogmas leading up to Christmas. And it's been a ton of fun so far. We're so close to the end. And today's video, I'm going to be doing a sit down video where I am ranking Peloton cycling instructors. I actually made a very similar video about a year and 2 months ago, and y'all still comment on it to this day, and you don't like my rankings. And I will say, watching back, my rankings have changed, but you know, I will always upset someone. Someone's favorite instructor will be my least favorite, and vice versa. But I do like to hear from you guys and comment. I feel like the biggest comment I got on my last video is that I was really sleeping on Tune Day, and she is still kind of down in my rankings. She has moved up, but she's still not the top. So with that, we can just get right on into it. I will give some reasoning to like why I have instructors where I have them. This is all my personal preference, so obviously if you disagree with me, let me know, but you probably won't change my mind, as I probably won't change your mind. If you're looking for instructors to try out that you haven't ridden the Peloton yet, you can try my favorite instructors. I think you would like them. But honestly, everybody should try out every single instructor, as tedious as that sounds, because there's 20 instructors. I promise you it's worth it if you find a couple instructors that you really vibe with. It makes getting on the bike so much more exciting when I know there's already so many instructors that I want to take classes from. Since my last video, Peloton has also added 2 new instructors, which is really exciting because I really like both of them. In my last video, I grouped them into different tiers, but in this video, I gave them a 1 through 20 ranking. So we can just start off with number 1. This will not surprise you if you watch my channel at all. My number 1 instructor is still Ben Aldis. He is my fave. Reflecting on it, I actually don't know what I like about him so much. I think it's a mix between having good music and then also feel like he's coaching you, that he's giving you good tips while also remaining personable. I just think that he's like the intersection of all 3 of those things for me, which is perfect. I know some people really like chatting instructors, some people really like more of the coaching motivational instructors, but I kind of like a little bit of everything. And I feel like Ben just kind of meets all those needs for me. So I really enjoy his rides. I love power zone training. He is a power zone instructor. I really like hitting hills. He does those as well. I like climb rides. Really, I like everything that he comes out with. Vibing with the music definitely helps. If you are a new rider, I would highly recommend looking at playlists of classes before starting. It is a little tedious, but I guarantee you will have a better workout if you're like vibing to the music and you really like it. It just makes the class a lot more enjoyable in my opinion. So Ben is my top. He's also my favorite cool down instructor. I have 1 cool down from him that I always do. Absolutely love him. And then in second place, I actually have a tie. I don't have many ties on this list, but I legitimately could not pick between these 2 instructors. So the first second place winner is Jess King, and she has moved up in my rankings significantly. If you watch my video from last year, she was not really on my radar. I'm like, oh yeah, she's kind of crazy. She has a very loud personality. Like, her rides are very hard. I don't really take her. And I don't really know where that changed for me. I don't know how I got sucked into her classes, but now I'm very much a follower and I take a lot of classes that she puts out. I really, really love her sweat steady rides. They're kind of power zone-esque without committing to power zone training. So if you're like interested in power zone rides, I would suggest checking out a sweat steady ride. They're not exactly the same, but I feel like they have very similar vibes. I also really love the Jess King experience. I feel like it's put together very well. I recently did a video where I took the first season of the Jess King experience. That was super fun. I just feel like she is a really fun person and she's not afraid to be who she is. She's loud, but she's proud of that. And I enjoy her rides. They are hard. She will push you. She is definitely very different from Ben Aldis, in my opinion. Like, she's way more up in your face, but sometimes I want that. And I do really enjoy her rides. So she's probably the person that's moved up the most in the rankings since last year, but now I can't even imagine not taking classes from her. I literally take classes from her every single week. She is great. I would 100% check her out if you really want somebody that's going to motivate you and push you to go your hardest, and just somebody that doesn't take it too seriously either, that she's very light and happy, and it's just always a fun time. You never know what you're going to get when you get on the bike with Jess, but you know it's going to be a good time. And if you ever want to push yourself super hard, do an EDM ride or a trap ride with Jess King, and I promise you, it will not disappoint. That's all there is to say about that. And then the other instructor in second place is my man, Bradley Rose. He is such a silly and lovable human. I always smile when I'm on the bike with him. He's always cracking like weird jokes, in my opinion. They always go by fast. I really enjoy his music taste. And he just is such a funny and lovable guy. He definitely leans more on telling more stories, but I enjoy that. My mom is like, there's so much chatter, but I enjoy the chatter. I still feel like I get a good workout from him. Also, I absolutely love pop punk rides, and he's like one of the 2 instructors that do them semi-frequently. So that's definitely a huge point in his wheelhouse. And I feel like it can be hard. Like, new instructors really have to come in and be very charismatic to kind of like carve out their fan base, because they're basically taking Peloton fans from other instructors. People riding on the Peloton already have their favorite instructors. So the fact that Bradley could come in, and I see a lot of people say that he is their favorite, just shows how charismatic he was and how good he was at capturing an audience. So I would definitely recommend checking him out. I think that he would be really good for beginners. He doesn't take things too seriously, but you're still going to get a good workout. In 4th place, we have Camila Ramone. She is also the other new instructor on Peloton, and I feel like Peloton has just been killing it on adding the new instructors. I absolutely love Camila. I did an entire video where I took a bunch of classes from her. She teaches half her classes in English and half of her classes in Spanish, which obviously I can't really appreciate the Spanish classes. I think that's super cool that she's the first person on the platform to do that. And she's just really fun. She definitely tells a lot of stories. She talks a lot about growing up in Miami, what it's like to be Hispanic, what it's like to be an immigrant there. And I find that very interesting because I don't have any friends that have that experience. Like, I've never really heard a first person point of view of that. So I really appreciate it. And I just think that she's so lively and fun, and whenever you get on the bike, I know I will smile. And I feel like sometimes I want to get on the bike, I want to do a good workout, I want to get the technical work in, but sometimes I just want to get on the bike and also smile, laugh, feel like I'm just having a fun time with a friend. When I take a ride with her, I honestly feel like I am talking to one of my girlfriends. Gotta love that parasocial relationship, but I think she does a really good job at it. I don't feel that way with any of the other female instructors. So even though she's only been added to the platform like a month or 2 ago, I think that she will become very, very popular over the next year. I will say, be prepared to be out of the saddle a lot and be sprinting a lot out of the saddle. That would be my only complaint about her, but you know, I have to practice the things I'm not good at, so she really brings that out of me. I am okay doing that as long as I'm doing it with her. After Camila, I have Matt Wilpers. Matt Wilpers is my favorite Power Zone instructor. Ben Aldis does do Power Zone training, but I definitely take Matt Wilpers more. He is the technical guy. Like, he gets on the bike, he tells you what you need to do. He doesn't care about music that much. All of his songs seem to be crowdsourced, so his playlists are a little odd, eclectic, but we get through them. He's very much like, this is what we're doing, especially in Power Zone training. He'll tell you basically the entire set for the entire ride right at the beginning of the class, which I appreciate. I like to know like exactly what I'm doing for my entire workout, and we do it. And he often talks about other things on the bike, like prepping for a race or VO2 max. I always learn something when I take a class with him. And I think that he's definitely the person that I've learned the most technically with. And although I'm not usually smiling at the end of the class, I know I got a good workout in, and I just really enjoy the Power Zone training with him. If you're trying to get into Power Zone training, I highly recommend trying classes from him. I also appreciate, because he does a lot of the longer Power Zone training rides, like 45-minute to 60-minute, which is kind of like what I want to take. So overall, I think that he is a very like happy-go-lucky, lovable guy, but I really appreciate how technical he is, and I know he's very constant. Like, I've never taken a ride with Matt Wilpers and been like, that's a bad ride or I didn't like it that much. I always like it, and I always feel like I got a good workout in. After Matt Wilpers, we got my girl Hannah Frankson, also a huge fan of hers. I just feel like I can depend on her. She is very constant as well. I've never taken a ride from her and been like, oh, I don't really like it. Really love her music choices, and then I also feel like she does a lot of rides that I gravitate towards, like hit and hill climb, kind of similar vibes to Ben, but I think she's a little more lighthearted. She definitely tells more stories, and I just really appreciate her. Like, I feel like she's very calm, and you go and you do the workout and then it's over and you're ready to leave. It's hard to pinpoint exactly what I like about her so much, but I think it is just how calming she is while also pushing yourself. So really highly recommend her. I honestly feel like I lean more towards the London instructors in general because of their like more laid back attitude, but I would definitely recommend her, especially for somebody that's like just getting on the bike. I think that she's very beginner friendly. And then after Hannah in 7th, I actually have Dennis Morton. He's moved up in the ranks. I actually still don't take that many classes with him, but I do really, really like him. My biggest problem is that I really like to know the music that's playing, and he typically plays music that I don't know, but I've never taken a bad class with Dennis. Like, I've never even taken just an okay class with Dennis. Every time I take a class with Dennis, he's so dependable. I always love it. I always get off the bike thinking I need to take more classes with him. He's definitely more on the technical side, and he won't tell you about, you know, his entire life story, which I think some days that's what I want. Like, I don't need to hear all the chatter. I definitely like chatter. Like, it depends on the mood. So that's why it's also good to know, like, how you feel about every single instructor, because your mood's not going to be the same every single day. Like, I love my boy Ben, but would I want to take a class from Ben every single day? No, I wouldn't. I would like to mix it up. So it's nice to know what you want, but Dennis, he's going to give you a technical ride. It's going to be good. He's really big on cycling on the beat, which I also appreciate. I've taken some of his Power Zone rides, which I like, and I just know that if I don't really know who to take, I'm just like, I can take Dennis because I know it will be a good time. If he started playing some pop punk or some pop music, it would be even better. But I know that Peloton already leans majority pop, so I appreciate that he's making classes for people that don't like pop, but then I don't like the music as much. So it's a little inconvenient for me, but I'll forgive him. He's definitely moved up in my rankings because before I would just not take him at all. But I really do enjoy the classes that he teaches, and I would highly recommend him. I feel like I'd highly recommend everyone, but I really just feel like Dennis is very, very welcoming. After Dennis in 8th place is Robin Arzon, and this is going to sound kind of bad, but I kind of just fell off taking her when she went on maternity leave. She is back now, and I've taken a couple classes since she's been back, and they're still really, really good. In my opinion, Robin is the most charismatic Peloton instructor. She can foster such a connection with you, in my opinion. Like, she's very, very open on the bike. She's talked about pregnancy. She's talked about postpartum. She's talked about like all these different things in her life. So you feel very, very close to her. And I feel like even though there are bad things that have happened in your life, she really flips it around to see the positive, to see how that has actually benefited her. If you've taken a couple Peloton instructors and you're not vibing with them, I would highly recommend Robin. Maybe Robin would be the first instructor I'd recommend taking at all. She can be a little on the hard side, but I think that she gives wide enough ranges that she could be good for a beginner as well. And I personally find her very, very motivating. Do I need a pep talk every single time I get on the bike? No, but it's nice to have sometimes. And I really do feel like she fosters a very, very strong emotional connection. So I do really enjoy her, and I honestly need to like work her back into my rotation because, again, whenever I take a ride with her, she is so good. Like, I always get off the bike and I am happy. With the caveat of her Tabata rides, then I'm cursing her. But on the norm, I'm pretty happy with her. After Robin is Alex Toussaint in 9th. And it's actually interesting because in my rankings last year, my top 3 instructors were Ben, Alex, and Robin. So Alex and Robin have definitely fallen down while a bunch of other instructors have gone up. And I think this makes sense. Like, instructor opinions changed. I still really like both of them. Alex Toussaint, I was super into his club banger rides for a while, and I think I overtook the amount that I should have taken. Like, I was taking them really, really frequently. I'd gone back. I've taken like the majority of them, even though he's been doing them for years, just because I really enjoyed them. Basically, he models them like you're in a club. So the warm up, you're like outside of the club, and then you're like dancing in the club, and then the cool down, you're like leaving the club. And I think they are fun rides, and I still take them sometimes, but definitely not to the caliber I was taking them like a year ago. So I think that's the biggest reason that I've kind of fallen off from him. Also, he does stop in the middle of hard pushes. Like, he'll stop pedaling to like give you a pep talk. He is very like yell at your face, coach, like, let's go, let's go, let's go. But he stops to tell you that. And I find that very, very demotivating. Like, I definitely don't care as much as I used to, but I used to get like low-key mad when he would do that on the bike, because he would do these intervals where he's basically like, go as hard as you can, and then he would just be standing there yelling, go, go, go. But I still think he's good. I think he is charismatic as well, and he also has a very interesting life story, so I would recommend him. He definitely does a lot more like faster cadences than heavy resistances. For me, heavy resistance is easier than fast cadence. So naturally, I gravitate towards instructors that do more heavy resistance because it's easier for me, but it's always nice to take instructors that focus on the fast cadence, because there's only one way to get better. So I need to take those instructors more, and he's definitely one of them. And I still really, really like him. I've just kind of fallen more off because I haven't been doing club bangers all the time. Like last year when I ranked him that high, I was doing club bangers like twice a week. After Alex Toussaint, in 10th place, we have Cody Rigsby. I feel like Cody is one of the most controversial people on Peloton. A lot of people absolutely love him, and he has a huge fan base, don't get me wrong. But then I feel like on the flip side, a lot of people actually hate him. I would consider him to be like the biggest chatterbox. So if you do not like chatter, definitely do not take him. But if you want more of that like parasocial relationship, in my opinion, Camila is very similar to Cody, and Camila is like the girl version. Whenever I take a Cody ride, I know it's not going to be hard, but I know that I'm not going to be mad. It's going to be a good, fun ride. I feel like Cody is perfect for the days that I don't want to get on the bike. Like, Cody is exactly who I want to take, because I know that we're not going to do something super, super hard, but he's going to be making jokes the whole time. And honestly, it's better to get on the bike and take a Cody ride than to not get on the bike for me. Not every ride needs to be the hardest ride ever, and I just feel like it's really nice to have him as an option. I also know a lot of my friends that have the Peloton in real life only ride with Cody. Like, they absolutely love him. So I would 100% recommend him for a beginner that is kind of just looking to get onto the Peloton and is not like that serious of a cycler. I think he would be a very good fit, and he's really good for beginners. And if you want to work out without feeling like you're working out, I think he is the best instructor. Like, he really takes your mind off things, because he'll just tell constantly funny stories to get you through the workout, and some days I need that. So I still do really, really like him. After Cody, in 11th place, I have Ali Love. I used to like Ali Love more than I do now. I kind of have just fallen off on her. I think that it's kind of natural to like cycle through instructors. I'm really big on her feel-good rides, but she doesn't do them as often anymore. And besides that, I don't take that many rides from her. I do like the occasional like music ride, Broadway ride, pop ride. She is good. I just feel like I don't really find myself gravitating towards her anymore. I think it's because I'm not like a huge fan of the way she structures her classes. Usually they're like kind of easy at the beginning, and then they get super hard at the end, and I just like average hardness the entire time. So I would definitely take more feel-good rides with her in the future, but I don't feel like I gravitate towards any of her other rides. And then after Ali Love, in 12th place is Sam Yo. Sam Yo is my mom's favorite, so she's kind of got me taking him a little bit more, and I do really like him. He's definitely not a lot of chatter instructor, which is fine. And I think he's actually kind of difficult because he is so calm. Like, he's not up in your face at all yelling like, you can do it, you can do it. But because he's so calm, it kind of like brings it out more in you. He's like, all right, like at a point, and you're just like, okay, I'll just listen to him. So I do like him. I like his music choices. I feel like I don't know much about him, but I guess that's true about like, say, Matt Wilpers. I just feel like there's a difference because even though Matt Wilpers doesn't talk about his personal life, he talks a lot about like technical cycling things. So then I feel like I know more and I learn more in Matt's classes versus after a Sam Yo's class, I don't really feel like I learned anything, and I also don't know anything about him. But it's not a bad class, and I do like them, and I get actually very high output when I'm with him. So like if I just want a good ride where I'm going to grind it out, I can just take it with Sam. I would say this is the cutoff after Sam, where it's like I don't take the rest of these instructors unless if there's like a good reason to take them. It doesn't mean I think that they're bad, they're just like not for me for different reasons. So in 13th place, we have Kendall Toole. And I want to like Kendall. Whenever I take a class with her, I usually smile. I like her personality a lot. I just hate the way her classes are structured. They're very like up and down. So go very hard and then recover for like 3 minutes and then go like super, super hard again. And I just like that like average hardness the whole class. Definitely personal preference, but I find that I just don't really like it. She also does a lot of out of the saddle work, which again, I can forgive and I need to practice, but I just like more in the saddle work. She does do pop punk rides, which I absolutely love. So I do take those, but usually I'm disappointed after I take them, but I do take them. So she gets me with the good music, but besides that, I basically avoid Kendall rides. After Kendall, in 14th place is Leanne Haynesby. I don't really have anything against Leanne. I just think she's kind of boring. I don't really know anything about her, which is totally fine. Like, you don't need to talk about your personal life, but I just don't know anything about her. And then I'm not like a huge fan of her music choices, so I just never really naturally gravitate towards her, which is totally fine, but I just don't have a lot to say because I don't take a lot of classes with her. I wonder if I like committed and took like a week of classes with her, if I'd like her more, because right now I think I just take like one class with her every couple of months, and then I don't really think anything of it, and then I just kind of move on. So she's kind of just been stuck in the bottom of my list, and if you have any really good Leanne rides that you think I would like, please comment them. I'd love to get more into her, but I just have not. And then in similar vibes to Leanne, in 15th place is Tunde. I know a lot of you guys absolutely love Tunde. I just can't get into her. I think it's mostly because she doesn't play a lot of music that I like or do any rides that like really catch my eye. But if you have any good Tunde rides, like please let me know. I take her strength classes, like especially her arms classes, and I really enjoy those and I like her personality. I just never find a ride on the app that I'm like, ooh, this is what I'm going to take tomorrow. I have over 200 classes bookmarked that I want to take on Peloton, and I don't think any of them are Tunde rides. Like none of the ones that she puts out are like, oh, like I want to bookmark this for the future. So that's kind of where I am at with her. I'd love to get more into her. So if you know any, please let me know. Good rides. I would 100% try them out. And then after Tunde, in 16th place, we have Hannah Marie Corbin. I absolutely loved Hannah Marie Corbin when I was a beginner. I was taking her legitimately like 4 or 5 times a week. I think that she has a very welcoming personality, and I think she's really great for beginners. In all the rides that I took, she would always say, your body's not like Amazon Prime. It's not going to show up in 2 days. And I really, really appreciated it because I feel like not a lot of other instructors have that sort of messaging that it's okay to be a beginner. Like a lot of them are like, go, push, come on, go your hardest. Like some of them say you can modify, but I just felt like she was very, very welcoming. I also loved her music choices, so that definitely helped. But if somebody came to me and said, I'm a beginner, who should my first ride be with? I would probably recommend Hannah Marie Corbin. I really, really like her. Now she's just at the bottom of my list because I think her classes are way too easy. Like I'd have to heavily modify to take them, which I don't really want to do. So that's why she's at my bottom, but I would highly recommend her to someone else. And it's good that Peloton offers a range of instructors and have some more beginner friendly instructors. So really, really love her, just not for me anymore, but highly, highly recommend beginners to take her, or somebody that just doesn't want to cycle so seriously. And then in similar vein, I have Christine Duracle. I used to ride her a lot, like right when I was beginning. I think that she is on the easier side as well, but I just don't like her as much anymore. I feel like she sometimes gets into like motivational pep talk mode, and I just don't like it. I know some people like really like it, but with her it feels almost forced to me. I don't know how to describe it. I wouldn't not recommend her. I think that she is good for beginners, and I also really liked her music. I just don't find myself gravitating towards her as much as I used to. I will say every once in a while I take a ride from her, and she definitely doesn't focus on the metrics as much as other instructors, so I can appreciate that, and it's nice to do every once in a while, but it's definitely not something I'd want to take every single day. And then after Christine Duracle, in 18th place is Jen Sherman. I kind of actively dislike Jen Sherman, to be honest. I don't know what it is about her, because she does talk about her personal life, so like I feel a connection to her, but sometimes when I'm on the bike, I honestly am like, I can't wait until this ride is over. And that doesn't really happen with a lot of other instructors on Peloton, so I try not to take any classes by Jen Sherman now, because I never want to feel that way when I'm working out. Like usually cycling is something that I really enjoy doing, so I just don't take her. I did take her when I first started on Peloton, and again, I think that she is an easier instructor, so I think she is good for beginners. You know, there are people that really like her, so even though I wouldn't personally recommend her, I think she's worth trying out and seeing if you'd like her, because there are people that really enjoy her. She's still a really good Peloton instructor. And then in last place, in 19th tied, we have Emma Lovell and Olivia Amato, which is surprising because I really like Emma Lovell for her core strength classes, and I really like Olivia Amato for her outdoor runs. But on the bike, I'm just not a big fan of them. I feel like they're both very like up, down, go very hard, then have very big recovery, which is just not really my jam. And then they also don't pick music that I like. But even if they picked music I liked at this point, I still don't think I would take the class. Like I'd have to think really hard if I wanted to take that class, which is why they're at the bottom for me. I know some people really love them. They're just not for me. I also think that they're very hard. So that is it for my ratings. Let me know what you guys think. Ratings are pretty subjective, so I'm sure that you'll have your opinions. I'm glad to hear them. If you have any good rides for instructors that I listed at the bottom, please let me know. I'd love to try them out. Maybe that's how I discovered Jess King. Like people kept recommending her rides, and then I took them and then I liked her more. I don't know, but I am open to suggestions. I love when somebody feels strongly enough about a ride to suggest it. That usually means that it is a good ride. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys are having an awesome week, staying safe, and I'll see you in my next video, which will be tomorrow because we're still in Vlogmas. Bye!